like Amy's pizzas or something, it's like this sort of fancy or frozen pizza, but then they'll be super cheap, $3.99, but it's the weird flavor that nobody wanted, you know. So you just gotta,
Anchovies and sweet potato.
yeah, you're like, that's like, well, shit, I'm not so fancy that I'm not gonna try it. Shit, $3.99. It's still pizza, still fucking pizza.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, let me do the thing here. What's up, everyone? I'm gonna keep most of that in. I don't care. I like the casualness. I'm no press. I'm no metal injection or Revolver magazine. This is the
Uh,
RRBG podcast. I'm here with Bryan Giles of Red Fang. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great.
It's been a while. We did one of these a few years back. I don't remember. I don't even know if I was doing video back then. I think it was just audio back then.
Do you remember what record it was for?
Oof. Maybe Arrows.
Okay, so yeah, maybe, yeah, 3 years ago.
No. Because I talked to Aaron for Arrows. It was before Arrows.
So probably only Ghost. So that would be 2016.
Yeah, that was right when I got started. I didn't have any video. I was just doing audio. I couldn't figure things out because I'm technologically handicapped. But
Oh
little by
man,
little,
I'm very stunted in that way too.
little by little, I've been figuring it out. Skype started adding recordings and all that, and get it going. But we're here to talk about the newest release from you guys, which is actually it's a compilation, right? It's more of like it's called Deep Cuts.
Yeah, it's a B-sides rarities compilation, and I keep putting my foot in my mouth. But the truth, but truthfully, in general, I don't. People put these things out, and I'm like, what, what if it's not good enough to be on an album, or it's sitting in some dusty corner of the world? Why am I listening to it now?
Right.
But so I don't really chomp at the bit for these kind of things. But I got I feel, and it's hard to be objective, but I really feel like this one feels like a regular record. I don't. It doesn't have a junk drawer feeling to it, to me anyway. But like I say, I mean, it's hard to be. I'm inside it, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it because there's some things that I really did feel like got swept under the rug that deserved a little bit more attention. So it's exciting. Some of these little gems, to me anyway. I'm like, yeah, they get some sunlight.
Yeah, because there's some that are like on soundtracks that don't make it on an album. They're just like on a separate thing or like a special release, and then nobody can actually own it physically because it's part of some like special thing. But now it's all put together in a physical thing that you can own. So I could get that appeal for sure.
Yeah. I listened to the whole thing. I got the vinyl last week, and I played the whole record. Just my main motivation was to see how the mastering job was, just because we have some stuff, like I did some stuff on GarageBand, and then there's tracks that are on a $500,000 board, and they're right next to each other, and I'm like, oh, is that gonna just sound insane? But they hats off to the folks who mastered it, because it has a nice consistency to it. Things don't like the bottom doesn't drop out of things, or something sound like whatever, a voice memo recording. It's like it flows really well. And also I felt like the flow from one song to the next, really, it would work. It worked for me anyway. So
Yeah,
all right, we'll
no,
see. I hope there's something on there for people to enjoy. That's
absolutely, absolutely. There's covers. There's like I said, I think there's one that's from like a special. I could be off, but I think it was like a Scion something or other, like release that never was on an album. There's demos of like Wires, right? I believe there's a demo of
mm-hmm.
Wires in there, which I can see your point of view of like, why would anybody want this when the real version's out there? Like a demo. But if you can master it, so like that's got to be so difficult to master it. Completely different recordings into making it cohesive into one
Yeah,
release.
I was impressed. I was not optimistic that it would work. It's like you don't. Yeah, I mean, like literally, I don't, I learned how to record during pandemic out of necessity. Um, but I don't have like a bay of compressors or, I mean, God help me, I don't even know what to do with a compressor, but so my shit is seat of the pants for sure. And, there's some crackles and pops because I had a mic too hot or something like that, but it's, it adds to the charm. Ah,
Yeah. No, you guys have that like rawness to you. I mean, even Arrows, like the production on Arrows sounds more like raw and unfiltered, like less overproduced than, modern releases these days. So and that's part of your appeal, I think. It's the natural sound of Red Fang. Because to me that you guys have always been a live thing. Like you have to see it live to feel that energy, the loudness of everything all together. So it just adds to the flavor.
yeah, I agree. It's funny as far as production value though, because I've talked to people who are like, some of our later releases, we went, like Ross Robinson, they were like, oh, it's too produced. And I'm like, is it? And then, and then our next album, it's like, it's not produced enough. I'm like, whatever, people, you'll make yourself crazy. You start listening to trolls. So,
Yeah, you can't please everyone.
no, you can definitely agitate most people though, if you try.
I mean, I feel like if you're a fan of the band and you've been following along, you get the thing, you get the message, you get the vibe. I guess is what the kids call it these days. The vibes.
Oh man,
But
I'm all about vibes. I don't fuck around. I mean, I'm halfway to a hippie. I believe in vibes.
well, this release is celebrating 20 years of Red Fang, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And I'm sure it's even crazier to you since you're living it. But how do you feel right now, 20 years into the Red Fang game, and countless shows, and I think what 5 full albums plus this new deep cuts. How are you feeling of the with everything in your world right now for Red Fang?
It's good. We're taking a step back from the band for 2025. We're not booking anything. So and maybe 20 years we all kind of need to take a break. Um, so which makes me a little sad because I really do love it. And as far as 20 years, it is kind of mind blowing that there's a community that has made it possible for us to have that be our job. It's insane. As a teenager, that was my fantasy, was to, be a working musician. I never wanted to be, you know, David Lee Roth or something like that. I didn't want to be on the cover of People magazine. I just I wanted to make music that I believed in and have that be my focus, and I think that it shouldn't be such a unattainable goal, but it really felt that way to me for so long. And so, Red Fang didn't really start taking off until I was in my late 30s, um so so I feel so I just feel lucky, I mean, really, when it comes down to it. And I, still enjoying it, shockingly.
Still like your bandmates. You're not trying to kill each other.
No, no, still love those guys.
I've seen some bands, like I went to go see I forget who was the opening act, but Korn was headlining, and I was walking around the back room, and I was just curious. I'm like, so where's the Korn locker room area? And they're like, oh, they each have their own dressing rooms because they can't stand to be around each other.
All right.
I'm like, God damn. I mean, it makes sense when you're around that long and you're grinding it out with you're basically married to three or four guys, and there's bickering and arguments, but it's good to hear that you guys 20 years in, you still love each other.
Yeah, I mean, we pay for our individual hotel rooms now.
Okay.
We need our space too. And yeah, truthfully, if we're on a long tour, a lot of times, our schedule is kind of cookie cutter. Show up at 2, you get the stage at 3, 3 to 4, you do your sound check, and then 4 till dinner is open, and then we just basically scatter like rats. We're like, I'm going to do something else. And so, sometimes I'll just, go outside of the club and look at the skyline and say, okay, that church tower, I'm going to walk to that. And then I'll do that, and I think that it's healthy. You do need your own space. I mean, we're social creatures, but man, get me out of this van.
Get you out of this container of farts and
Exactly.
weird smells.
Biohazard.
What's your go-to thing to do when you're in a town that you've never or maybe that you've been to but not a lot? Like, do you go check out record stores? Do you go check out food or coffee? Like, what's your go-to thing?
Well, I like to find an independent coffee shop. I'm fine with Starbucks if that's what's available. But I'd much prefer a mom and pop, because and you get a more sense for the town, I think, when you're talking to small business owners than you are with what people who have to put on a face to work for a corporation. So I do that, and then I'm really into pinball. So there's an app called the Pinball Map, and it covers most of the globe now. So I can just open that and say, is there pinball within walking distance? And so sometimes that's a good impetus for me to get my steps in.
Nice.
And then I try to put my name up in lights. I'm in a pinball club called the Whiskey Dicks. So if ever,
Nice.
yeah, so our letters are WDX, and it's basically, it's a pretty casual club. Basically, the if you want to be in the club, you have to be able to get a score on a machine, for even if it's a fourth place, whatever factory bullshit, as long as you do it and you put up WDX instead of your own name. And if you're cool person to drink beers with, that's the policy. But anyway,
Nice.
so I am motivated. I'm like, I got to spread the word. So, I think we were in this summer, we did last fall, we did a European tour, and I got some scores up in some random places. There was a club across the street from our venue in Berlin. I put up scores, and it's also nice. You can, a lot of times if you do that, you can meet some fans and maybe get a free game of pinball out of it. but yeah, I'm big into pinball, so I guess that's my big thing. If I with my free time, if I can find a pinball machine, that's great.
Do you have one at home?
I do.
Which one? Which one do you have?
Sure Shot.
Sure Shot. Okay.
Yeah, it's electromechanical from the 70s.
Nice. What's your favorite one? I mean, when I was younger, I did a lot of arcade time, and I would love to go over and play with the Addams Family or the Terminator 2. Those are my two big ones.
Oh, I Terminator 2, not a big fan of. I'll play it, but I don't know. That stupid gun thing drives me crazy. The gun
trigger.
It makes me crazy. It just feels like a carnival thing. But Addams Family, I think, is great. I have really obsessed over that. Just trying to close out all the windows and get the whatever wizard mode it is.
Yeah.
It's exciting, and it's not too far. It's like there's a window that's an extra ball, whatever. That's not too hard to get, and yeah, I'm really into that one. That's a fun one. But I think probably one of my favorite pinballs is Tales of the Arabian Nights. I think that's a really cool one. Circus Voltaire. I don't know if you played that one. The boom balloon. It's got this clown with the top hat pops out, and you have to plug him with balls, and he gets pissed, and I don't know. It's a trip. Speaking of carnival-y things, it's got some gimmicks, but they're cool gimmicks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like the gimmicks a little bit. Nothing too crazy. The Terminator gun, the gun itself was my least favorite part of it. I just liked all the different other interactions within the machine itself.
Yeah. The problem with modern pinball is there's so many. They put these spinners with heavy duty magnets on them right in the front, in the center of the playing field, that are just basically randomized and at a high velocity can just launch the ball back at you. I'm like, man,
No.
that's just that's just a way to take my quarters. It's just it takes all this. It really puts a damper on something. If you're trying to control a game, catching a ball, slowing down the gameplay, trying to make precise shots, but to get through the game, you have to hit that spinning magnet that goes insane,
Yeah.
and it just really makes it hard to consistently, be effective.
Yeah.
But
That's
whatever, I mean, I'm like,
corporations find a way to steal your money. I mean, that's normal.
yeah, well, I mean, those machines do cost a shitload to make. I mean, like,
Yeah.
some of these modern machines are like 10 grand. So at 75 cents a play, it's like, how long do you have to have one of those in a bar before you get your money back? And probably a lot of them never do.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
a
true.
way. It's something for people to do and then buy beers. So
Yep,
I guess
keep
it's
them
sort of
there buying drinks. Yep.
yeah, it's like a promotional object, whatever, I guess.
Have you played? Do you like the digital ones, like video game pinball games? Like there was an old like Sonic the Hedgehog spinball. I played that one a bit, but I always felt bad playing digital pinball. I felt like I was getting robbed, similar to like digital poker. I don't trust the machine.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I would hope that digital poker is actually shuffling the cards and you do have the same odds as you would in a regular pickup game with human beings in real life. I would hope. But no, yeah,
I'm
but
a little too
I
cynical for that, I think.
yeah, but I agree with you that digital pinball. It's like, no, you want the that's the cool thing about it, is like you are dealing with a little metal object that you're trying to keep alive, and so digital thing, even if it's like super, the physics of it are super hyper realistic, there's something that's just wrong about doing it on a TV. I think you need to be in a pinball environment, a real ball with really obnoxious people next to you that you got to deal with, and all the stuff that goes into a game of pinball.
Loud noises, loud ding, 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 ding.
Yes,
all the
exactly.
sounds everywhere and
Yeah, man, bells and whistles.
bells and whistles. So where are you? You're in Georgia? Is that where you live?
uh Portland, Oregon.
Oh, Portland. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you guys ever in Georgia? I feel like for some reason you guys are a Georgia band. I don't know why.
No, my grandmother lived in Atlanta.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna be in
uh
Portland in about 2 weeks, I think. That'd be fun.
oh, cool. How come?
Work stuff, beer stuff. I work for beer during the day, and then
Okay, well, there's lots of that.
lots
I'm
of
sure
beer in
you're
Portland.
indeed.
Are you guys? So you mentioned are you still drinking as like you used to? Have you slowed down over the years? Because even myself, I've started to slow down a little bit. I used to drink every day, and now it's just maybe on the weekends.
Yeah, I quit drinking altogether during the pandemic, so I haven't
No
had a
shit.
drink in I haven't had a drink in going on 4 years now.
Wow. Okay. Have you felt a drastic change in your body? Like, has it been a positive change for you? Do you miss it? Like,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, no, it's funny. I don't really miss it. I put in my time, man. And what I like to say is, it just got to where, well, the pandemic was rough because basically it just destroyed the live music industry. So it was the first thing to go and the last thing to come back. And so I was just at home and I was drinking a shitload of vodka. Like I ain't got no job, can't leave my house, and it just got to where and that it just wasn't doing me any favors anymore. I was just like, man, I don't ever have that like moment of like, oh, everything is cool and I'm having a good time and laughing and having a good time. It was just sort of maintenance. And I was like, well, this is just a sad way to be. So so I just transitioned to pot. So
ah,
um but I still kind of, it's like my carrot on the stick. It's something to, at the end of the day, if I've made it through whatever I got to do, then at like 9 or 10 at night, I'll put on a basketball game and eat too much THC and be high and watch basketball, and that's cool. I mean, I
hey,
you know
does a
I I,
trick.
I like to get fucked up, but just booze wasn't doing it for me anymore. So
Were you getting like physical pain? Because I feel like that's one of the reasons I've slowed down is because I'm start like once I start drinking, aside from the hangovers and shit, like I started feeling like joint pain and weird like things. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was having, I mean, a laundry list of issues. I mean, it got to the point where I wasn't really eating food, and I mean, yeah, it was getting bad. I was probably eating, I don't know, 500-600 calories of food a day, and then the rest of calories was in liquor, and no, yeah, it wasn't good, and like I lost a lot of muscle mass, and I just was suffering from severe anxiety, and so it was like beer for breakfast because I was just would have the have the yips. I would just feel like they're after me, whoever they are. There was a no they. It just had that general feeling of unease, and it was persistent. And
It
I
was
was
the
like, dude,
aliens, bro.
yeah, I know. I mean, seriously, I was making up some shit in my mind that was not real, and I was just sick of it. And it was getting in the way of me being productive and being cool to my friends and being there for my friends and stuff. So I'm really happy that I didn't do a program or anything. I just one day I was like, this has gotta stop. It became clear to me that I was like, I've got to quit this. And then detoxing was rough. I
Yeah.
mean, I this is gonna sound crazy, but I like the first day that I didn't have a drink, I was like had the shakes, and I was laying in my bed, and I had this like fully like hallucination that there was a bumblebee floating above my bed, and it was like perfectly floating up and down like an elevator going up and down, and it was a truism that it was Satan. Okay, and I'm not even religious, but I
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I was like, the devil is in this room in a bumblebee, and it's floating above me. And, well, that wasn't a good day because
Oh man.
I believed it, man. It was scary as fuck, and so you know got over that after a day or two. The shakes kind of went away, and I started getting my appetite back, and and really probably I don't know a week later, I felt pretty physically normal, mentally okay, but I was still like, man, what do I do now that I don't drink? That's what I do, and just
Yeah.
reconstructing a reality that didn't involve that was challenging, but I mean, but now I work at a bar. I really don't give a shit, I mean, I
Nice.
get it. I mean, I don't, they say, oh, you quit drinking, you got to have a whole new group of friends and you got to do this and that. No, you fucking don't. You know, I get it. I was there for years, man. I don't judge, and you know, and I feel like my experience makes me a better bartender anyway, because I can see if someone's gonna have a bad night if I give them one more drink, but
Yeah.
I also can tell if someone can hold their shit together, and I'll give them that drink they don't need because they can hold their shit together. You know what I mean? Like I think I read alcoholism on a better scale because I was one for so long. So, but like I say, I don't judge anybody. Whatever, it's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting when you start like slowing down drinking and you have a group of friends or something that you see on a regular basis that drink a lot and you start realizing like, "Oh my God, we're so obnoxious." When we're everybody's obnoxious, I'm just kind of not I'm not on their level right now because I'm not drinking.
Yeah, exactly. But back in the day, like cocaine was running around in my circle of friends, uh, and it was kind of thing where people would start doing cocaine, and I was never super into it. I didn't really buy it very often, which probably kept me out of the circle to some degree. But sometimes it would just be everybody around me was on cocaine. I was like, Jesus Christ. Everyone's talking about their fucking childhood and shit. What's going on? I'm like, shut the fuck up. And then I was like, oh, cocaine. Okay. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, then give me a line. I want to talk about my childhood too, you fuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is some to being on the same level as, or, if you're doing mushrooms around a bunch of people who aren't, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's no
You want
fun.
to be on whatever it is, you want to be kind of somewhere in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, man. Did you find yourself after you stopped drinking and your appetite came back, did you find yourself eating a lot of sweets?
Oh yeah. I mean, my body was so used to like unadulterated sugar. I mean, alcohol is like this close to just straight up eating a bowl of sugar. So
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, I was going crazy, ding dongs and all kinds of crap.
it's
Uh,
the worst.
but what I but what I got kind of overboard on was diet soda. You know, it's like I
Mm.
couldn't be normal. I couldn't just be just regular. You know, I mean, it's like getting super cracked out on caffeine was my thing for a while, and so I was drinking like I don't know, 12 pack of diet soda a day or something, and I was like, oh, I got to. So now I've eased back on that. I probably have 4 or 5 diet sodas a day, and I've started drinking Liquid Death, and they've got
Mm.
some. I really like the Dead Billionaire. It's like an Arnold Palmer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's got a shitload of caffeine. So I'm probably annoying as fuck. You know, speaking of like talking about your childhood, I get real cracked out on those, and I start talking crazy shit. So whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm an addictive personality. I smoke too much. You know, I mean, if you give me a vice, I'll overdo it. So I kind of accepted that about myself. I don't want to become a you know a Buddhist monk or anything, you know, but just accept that about yourself and say, well, what addictions are less shitty for you, you know? And I feel like pot, you know, I like I say, I keep it to the evenings because I get scatterbrained as it is, but you know, getting high, I'm not going to get shit done during the day. But you know, I've accepted that myself, and I'm like, well, you know, some things work, some things don't. Hooch just stopped working, but there's other random crap to obsess over.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I drink way too much coffee I mean, I have at least 4 or 5 cups a day in the mornings, and then another pick me up in the afternoon, like around 3 or 4. I'll have a little, either a cup of coffee or some kind of sugar-free energy drink of some sort. But one thing that helped me a lot to I'm still drinking, but I'm not drinking like I used to. Like working in the beer business, like I used to, it was every day. I was going to 12 or 13 bars to see them for work, for business. But every bartender wants to, hey man, you want a beer? Boop, they'll give me a beer or a shot or something. By 5 o'clock, I was plastered
Yeah, yeah.
every day, And so thankfully, I'm not doing that anymore. Now it's just on the weekends. I'll have some, and but look, like the sparkling waters, the LaCroix, those things have, because I guess what I enjoyed most about drinking is just that feeling of like bubbly, cold liquid. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
drinking. Like the alcohol itself wasn't really what I was hooked on. It was more of the, let me always have some kind of beverage on me. And
Consumption. I love to
yeah,
consume things. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So that's been very helpful for me. But all right, going back a little bit to music. 20 years. What would you say is the band's biggest accomplishment in your eyes in those 20 years?
Geez. Well, I mean, just that it became our primary source of income. I think that we got over the got over that line, you know, where it was, you know, it made sense for this to be our vocation, which is, I think, incredible. And I wish it wasn't such a difficult thing to attain, you know, because there's so many amazing bands out there that don't get to do it, you know, that maybe would be more deserving. I don't, you know, but just in general, I would just say that we somehow, you know, rose above the heap to where, you know, we could get, you know, playing shows where, you know, opening for, you know, huge bands and getting those experiences, you know, it's kind of amazing, really. There's a laundry list of stuff that I am sort of flabbergasted that, you know, we got invited to do at all. So,
Okay.
um,
Well, is there something in the horizon, like some kind of achievement that you want for the band, like a Grammy, soundtrack to a, I don't know, some big movie? Like, is there something in like in your mind that you're like, oh, if I do this, we're done. Like I made it, we're finished, mission accomplished.
no, not really. I mean, my thing is, you know, with songwriting is, you're, it's like, you know, those eureka moments where you're like, oh my god, that's it, you know, like you've really unlocked this puzzle, this riff that turns into a full-fledged thing, and you're like, oh my god, I've unlocked that, and it's amazing. And it's like, you know, it's like a racehorse. It just takes a shit. You just want to sprint. You know, it's just that feeling, and that's kind of the feeling that I'm still chasing after. Um, I think if I wrote some kind of perfect song where I was like, well, now I've done it, or whatever, made an album that I thought was perfect and it really encapsulated everything. I almost am afraid of that because I don't want to be done. I think that the flaws, there's every song that I've ever been involved in has some flaw, or multiple flaws. Some of them are just a full on train wreck, but it's like, it's the process. And I'm addicted to the process. Um, so I guess, my goal is to never get there.
My goal is to never get to the goal line.
Exactly. Yes. Always
That's
move the goalpost until I die peacefully in bed.
Yeah, it's
So
all about the journey, bro. It's all about the journey.
it really is.
You are turning into a hippie. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Oh man, I'm surprised, honestly. Though you mentioned that you're eating your THC. I can't do that. Makes me more anxious than anything. I smoke
Well,
still, but I can't eat anything. I just start losing my mind.
well, the nice thing about, in Oregon, it's, recreational is legal. So I think that's what I grew up in Arizona, where, you could smoke a joint all by yourself and talk to the cops because it was dirt weed. It was not high potency.
Yeah,
A lot of stems, lots of seeds, generally brown, and would
regs.
spent like 2 months in a car tire somewhere. But then I moved to Oregon, and the shit was like, fuck, like one bong hit, and you're like, who am I? And so I was like, no, not doing that anymore. So I quit doing pot for like, I don't know, 15 years or something.
Nice.
But now that it's legal, I can go to a store and I know the strain I'm getting, and and it's regulated, so the milligrams and like that, like the anxiety and stuff. It's like, for me, everybody's got their own tolerance, but for me, 20 milligrams, I get the fear, I get the, like, the self-doubt, and just like, oh, why did I say that? Oh, they think I'm an idiot. Oh, and I just go on and on to this, like, just treadmill of self-loathing. But 15 milligrams, shit is hilarious and everything's all good. So
Okay.
I think, yeah, like going to somebody's backyard barbecue and they're like, you want a pop brownie? Yeah.
Ooh.
It's all risky. I've done it,
Yeah.
and to varying effect. I mean, I've had some real bad times and I've had some real good times, but just the not knowing. So yeah, I understand, like, edibles can be a lot, especially if you don't know, whatever your buddy was doing in the kitchen, how high they were when they were adding ingredients. But yeah, but since it's regulated up here, I've just kind of dialed in my dosage, and it's working great, and it's cheap as shit. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
LA is recreational too. I haven't I guess I haven't done the research to see where my limit is because I guess every time I've done it I just freak out. But then
yeah,
again, I'm also an idiot. Like when I went to go see Opeth and Gojira at the Red Rocks, and I ate like 300 milligrams without realizing, and then
oh
I was just
Jesus,
floating around the concert like above like the audience.
that sounds horrible.
Oh my
That's
God.
really horrible. I did mushrooms once and went to see DRI, and
Ooh.
watched the concert from under a table.
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
that was a poor choice.
That's another thing. I've been going to concerts sober. I've been for so many years. I would just get blasted in the parking lot before the band goes on. Like, oh, well, we'll chug like 4 or 5 beers and then smoke a couple joints and then we'll go inside, and
Yeah,
watch the show. But I've as I've gotten older, I've realized like I go home and I don't feel like I actually was there.
yeah,
And
yeah, man. Rock and roll parking lot. It's part of our grow. It's part
yeah,
of it's a rite of passage. Is making you know, the thirst buster 44 ounce fucking whiskey Coke or whatever, and chugging that in a parking lot with a bunch of other dirt heads.
yeah,
That's great. I wouldn't trade that for $1 million.
yeah,
But yes, but I agree now. I'm like, I do like that band, and I want to remember seeing them. It's a.
yeah. I
I
end up
mean, you
sitting
might
at
have.
home looking at video clips that I made. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was more present for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got drunk once at like at an event. It was like this place I used to work at, and it was a live venue anyway. And I guested on a friend's country band, and there's a video of it, and I just remember one of these guys was like, well, he was my drinking buddy, but anyway, I was going toe to toe with him, drinking a bunch of whiskeys. Anyway, so it's sort of foggy memories, but I remember I did two songs. But I only remember doing one. So it was just very surreal to watch this video where I'm like, okay, I remember this. And then I can see the moment where the light switch gets turned out. I'm like, I did that song blacked out. I do not remember. I was like, I did okay, but I was like, it has been permanently erased in my memory banks. If it was ever installed, it probably wasn't. You know what I mean? It's surreal, It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
So I don't miss that necessarily, but I was just glad that I did get the shit done. But I mean, yeah, I mean, life experience. Have a few drinks so you can loosen up and enjoy yourself. But when you get hammered to the point where you don't remember the concert you went to, it's kind of stupid.
It defeats the purpose. I mean, it's
Yeah, yeah.
obvious you make some good friendships in those parking lots for sure. You strengthen friendships, but then the end game is supposed to be the concert, and then you don't remember any of it. So
Yep, exactly.
yeah. So okay, let's say you were to allow yourself to do that, to go and parking lot and get wasted and get excited for a band that you're going to go see right now at this point in your life. What band is that?
I've never seen Nine Inch Nails, and I would love to see Nine Inch Nails. I think Trent Reznor is a really clever dude. I just think he writes a great pop song, and then he dresses it up in some really eerie, rad, samples and stuff like that. I just think he's a good composer, and not every Nine Inch Nails record is great in my estimation, but more often than not, I listened to Hesitation Marks, whatever, when that came out, and I was like, man, these guys are still putting out really cool songs. So, and I feel like their probably show would be real fancy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's insane. I got lucky. Quick little story for you. I grew up very strict religious household where I couldn't even listen to music on my own. It was mostly whatever my parents were listening to. That's all I could listen to. So when I finally got out of that environment and started going to public school, the first the first piece of music I purchased with my own money was Pretty Hate Machine
Okay.
on a cassette tape. So I'm a big Nine Inch Nails, fan since I was a little kid, and we got lucky. My wife and I got lucky and bought tickets to one of their shows for Hesitation Marks. I think it was for that album, and we ended up getting like front row seats. It was pretty wild.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and the show it was funny because they had a massive production, crazy lights and all that stuff. But the show started with it was just Trent and a dude holding a spotlight, following him around like with the spotlight. And my wife's like, "This that's how you know you have too much money. You have your own personal fucking dude just following you around with a light."
I bet you that wasn't his only job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, their shows are crazy, like 3D looking things, and they play a lot with the visual aspect of it. And I'm really glad I got to see that because I know that not everyone gets a chance to see those. So
The other bit that I would say, as far as live concerts, probably the most stunning live show I've ever seen was Rammstein.
oh,
So
dude, yeah,
and apparently, with the safety restrictions, they can't really. That's why they don't tour the U.S. that often, is because their pyrotechnics are such that they're not legal here. So,
hmm
but I've seen them a couple of times. Never there a real concert, but like at festivals, which are still insane. It's
yeah,
like their opening number is more intense than most arena rock bands final pyrotechnic blast. It's just crazy. I guess they own their own pyrotechnics company, so part of their show is kind of like a exhibition of what is possible. And
yeah,
so it's crazy. They got shit, flamethrowers coming off their faces, and it's insane. So
yeah.
if you all haven't seen Rammstein and you get a chance to, oh my god, it's
Re-
hilarious. It's
Regardless if you like the music or not, like just
no,
go.
don't fucking worry about it. I mean, we saw him twice on the same road trip, they were playing the same festivals, and we were lucky that our driver Jens, was German, so he could translate things. And I would just lean up to like, now what's he saying? He's like, would start telling me. I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't, because it's a little risque. Their lyrics are pretty gnarly. So
Yeah,
I was
pretty
like, all right,
sexual.
yeah, I was like, all right, you can stop translating now. Thank you. I'll
Yeah.
just I'll just assume that they're about fucking because the dude is on a 20-foot dildo shooting fucking sperm on the
Foam.
on
Yeah.
the on the front 5 rows, whatever. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
But anyway,
man.
it's so great. It's like Blue Man Group for
Metal.
but like yeah, metal weirdo scene, man. I'm really. I was like, oh my god, I haven't been that enthralled in a concert. I don't ever. It was great.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I saw them as well in Florida. We saw them in an arena, and they had that crazy production where they fire everywhere. They had one that they shot a rocket across the crowd, and it hit something behind the crowd, and it shot back towards the stage.
Yes, they did
Like
that at
what
this
the
concert I saw.
fuck?
I know. I'm like, how is this legal? This seems so sketchy.
I mean, you're
I
gonna
mean,
burn this entire arena to the ground.
yeah, like those gas masks they were wearing that shot like literally 25-foot flames off of their faces. I mean, I don't know, I was a good 20 rows back, and it was hot. Like I was like, Jesus. I'm like,
Yeah.
the heat that I'm experiencing a good 30 yards away is pretty intense. I'm like, that's coming off of someone's face. It's
Yeah.
insane, but they bring it. Let's just say that.
Their ticket price is worth it. Unlike some shows you go to, where it's like $1,000 to see Taylor Swift, and there's no fire. Like,
Exactly.
like, where's the fire at? If I'm going to pay $1,000 to see Taylor Swift, she better be shooting fire out of her butt. I swear to God.
Damn straight. I took my wife to go see Justin Timberlake, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. And I was impressed with one of the aspects. I was like, all right, they're bringing it to the people. Is that they had like a cherry picker. The entire front of the stage was a cherry picker, and they drove it out over the crowd so that for 2 or 3 songs, the cherry picker went all the way to the back of the arena and then went up a couple of stories. So you were front row, even if you were in the nosebleeds in the 300 section, and the way back, you were front row. And I was like, that is awesome. And, the ticket prices on that, I mean, I think we got our booking agent pulled some moves. So we got some cheaper tickets, but still it was really expensive. So, I can't imagine. I mean, even nosebleeds were like over $100. So
Yeah.
I just thought I was impressed, and I thought that was really cool that they did bring a production value, and it brought it to you. You people, I think people really did have a visceral experience. Fucking JT.
JT, man. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't deny the talent. Whether you're into the style of music or not, you just got to acknowledge the talent.
he's a triple threat.
Yeah. Yeah, actor, comedian, he's singer and dancer.
Dancer. I know. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Um, Speaking of the comedy thing, he does comedy stuff. You guys are pretty funny. Your videos are fucking hilarious. I mean, you know that. Has that ever been something that's popped in your head to maybe pursue, on the side, like go do stand-up comedy or something like that?
Oof. Mm, yeah, it's popped into my mind, but I tell you, I feel like being a stand-up comedian is like easily twice as challenging as being in a band. When you're in a band, you can hide behind a guitar, you can hide behind amps. And if someone doesn't like what you're doing, it's a group thing. So it's like they don't like us. They don't like what we're doing, let's say. So the crowd doesn't get it. You finish your song and it's crickets, and you're like, well, that's a bummer, whatever. Here's another one you won't like, and you just go through your thing. But if you're a stand-up comedian, there's no amps, there's no other comedians backing you up. It's just you. And if someone doesn't like your set, it would be hard not to think that they don't like you, because part of being a stand-up comedian is selling your personality. And to have your personality on display and you are willingly putting it up for judgment just seems terrifying.
Yeah.
But that said, I mean, if people people want to hear like 10 minutes of dad jokes, I'll do bar mitzvahs or whatever.
I think you would. I think you would do well, man. I've been doing stand up now for a couple years, and but before it was all bands. I was in a band for 10 years and did the whole thing. And one advantage that I found myself having over a person that just does comedy, that stage experience. You're used to being on stage, and yes, it is just you, but you'll feel comfortable up there because you're so used to being there already. So I feel like if you were to give it a shot, you might feel more comfortable than you would anticipate.
Uh, yeah, well, I guess I'll just have to grow a pair and see if
Grow
I
up
can.
here, get an open mic. And,
I know. We did. There was a tour. We were on tour with Big Business. I don't know, a long time ago, 10 years ago or something. But there was we had a night off, and there was karaoke night. It was like open karaoke night. We just had them turn off the music and just use the mic, and we all kind of. I'm not even sure if I did any, but we all were doing that kind of thing, and it was even that, just us doing it for each other was terrifying to me. I'm like,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
but I love stand up comedy. I mean, I'm a big fan.
who are some of your favorites?
The last stand up comedian I saw was Joe Pera, and I thought that was great. He's hilarious. Are you familiar with Joe
No,
Pera?
I haven't heard of Joe Pera.
He's to say he's understated would be an understatement. He does like some videos where it's like Joe Pera puts you to sleep, and he'll just say stuff like, "You ever thought about pouring liquid from a large vessel into a smaller vessel?" And then he'll just have a video of like a 2 liter of soda going into a glass, whatever. It's like I know I can't do it justice, but his delivery is amazing. It's like watching a coma happen, but it's so satisfying. It's hard to describe, but anyway, either you like it or you don't. But anyway,
I'll check it out for sure.
And then what's his name? Oh no, one of my favorites. What's that guy's name? He does. I'll do some of his bits poorly, but he's like, I got an ant farm once. Those fuckers didn't grow shit. Do you know this comedian? Somebody asked me if I wanted a frozen banana.
Oh, Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg, yes. Anyway, I love him. I got to see him like, I don't know, a couple of months before he passed away. And he's still one of my favorites. His jokes are 80% delivery, but his delivery was just majestic. Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, you could see it in some of the newer comedians that they're trying to emulate what he was doing, and it's I automatically dismiss them because I'm like, nope, Mitch Hedberg did it better than you. Sorry.
They say that whatever imitation is the highest form of flattery. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, another question. If so, now that you're taking some time, you said you're taking like 2025 off from touring and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you were to start a new music project, what kind of music would you want to do, or would it end up sounding like a different version of Red Fang? You think?
Well, I am working on a solo project right now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I've been playing with various people. I've been going to the studio with just friends and people that I admire. And anyway, it's coming along, and and I guess it's so far the music is on the continuum of Red Fang things. But one or two of the things I recorded were things I wrote for Red Fang. That I put it up a flagpole and nobody saluted, so I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll record it. So nice. So it's kind of like that. And I've been joking about starting a punk rock goth band, but to some degree I'm not kidding. Something I really like Sam Hain. I think that that horror rock kind of thing, I like that. I'm not sure if I can pull it off, but I guess I sort of, if I don't have the other guys in Red Fang to stop me, I will probably lean into my black cape and standing in the rain a little bit more.
Hey, I mean, that's
Yeah,
you seem to, you like Ramstein and Nine Inch Nails. The gothiness is there, man.
yeah. I'm a closet. I'm not even in the closet. I enjoy goth music. It's true.
Yeah, it's fine. Me too, man. I grew up on that stuff. I got a lot, like even like the dancier type of goth music I got into, which is like Assemblage 23 and like VNV Nations and a bunch of those. Like there's just a ton of those bands. But back in my youthful days, I was always attracted to the gothy girls in school and started going to figure like where do they hang out? And like, take me
Yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we used to go to the goth club a lot when I was a kid in Tucson. The Fine Line it was called, but it was basically we just went to buy drugs. But
Ah,
you wait for your drug dealer to come around and you listen to a couple of Cure songs. It was all right. But I
yeah.
never really. But I was too angsty and shitty teenager to really to slow down enough to enjoy my mopey side. I was too pissed.
Too
But now I'm
pissed.
but now I'm older and I got room for moody, I guess.
Hey, do it, man. Do whatever you like. Honestly, if you're feeling it, then you should do it. Like, don't let anything kind of hold you back on that. Like you said, having band members that tell you not to do it, like, just do it. Who cares?
Well, it's not even that they. I guess it's what I imagine they would. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
whatever. We all build our own fucking walls, man.
yeah, yeah.
God, this is this is really turning into a hippie manifesto.
Tear down those walls, man. You're doing it to yourself.
Exactly. Well, and the other thing, just in general, I would say I don't believe in a guilty pleasure. If you enjoy something, there's no reason to feel guilty about it. I mean, unless it's like snuff films. Yeah, okay. There's a
Yeah.
limit to what I'm just saying. There is a limit, but just in general, man. If you're super into you know whatever Japanese teen pop music, for great, man. Fuck, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, enjoy what you like. As long just don't if you're like you know, people shitting on each other like in German scat videos. I don't need to know about that, but but
Right, but hey, man,
otherwise,
as long as it's consensual scat play, then I'm fine with it.
oh my God. All right. And I don't know, I know you have probably another one of these to do with someone, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But uh the question I ask a lot of people, Mount Rushmore for you in music. Who is your top four?
Oh, geez. Ozzy would be up there.
More
We're talking like
goth.
Ozzy.
Ozzy is gothy, man.
Okay. Oh
He's the
yeah,
Prince of Darkness. Come on.
Mr.
Yeah,
Crowley.
he's eating bats. Like that's a
I think that was a mistake. I don't think he intended it. Anyway,
uh,
uh, shit. There's four guys up there.
hmm
Uh,
It could be a band. It doesn't have to be an individual person if you want to just do band.
okay. Led Zeppelin, Black
Okay.
Sabbath. Uh,
We're gonna put a Black Sabbath and Ozzy. I'm gonna count as one though.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, Black Flag, I think was
Ooh.
was really formative for me. Um, all uh, all the iterations. I think my favorite singer was Des Cadena, but if we could fit all those guys up there, that'd be great. Uh, Buttle Surfers was a big influence for me when I was a young person coming up,
Really?
and I
Okay.
don't listen to them that much anymore. But that album Locust Portion Technician, I listened to the shit out of that. And Sonic Youth still a band that I find new things. Even albums I've heard 1,000 times, I'm hearing new things, and I really love how their creativity when it comes to instrumentation, how they tune their instruments, and they're they're playful. They try things, and I aspire to get outside of my comfort zone and try things. And so listening to bands, well, Buttle Surfers too. It's like they're definitely trying some things
Yeah.
to varying results, but it's just exciting to hear someone who's not afraid to fail. And I think that's we could all take a page from that.
For sure, for sure. And then finally, I like to put over some younger talent most of the time. So I'd ask you, if is there any newer bands that you're listening to, or a band that you would like to take on tour that you haven't already that's up and coming?
Well, my rock band now that I'm really into is a band called Conan. Um, I discounted them because I thought that it was like some like muscle bound guy in a fur codpiece, and I was like, oh, a novelty band, and so I was just kind of blew it off because the name.
Mm.
But this last summer we were doing festival tours, and they happened to be playing on the stage we were playing right before us. So I showed up to load my shit, and I got immediately transfixed. I was like, "Who is this band? These guys are fucking heavy." And someone's like, "Oh, it's Conan." I'm like, "No," but I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I just had made this shit up, you know." But I've been listening to their albums a lot of late, and I think they're really cool. They remind me of like a so, like a heavy detuned like Black Sabbath, but meets Carp or something. You know, it's the vocal styles are very reminiscent of Carp to me, and I was a big fan of theirs back in the day. So anyway, I there you go. That's the new group that I'm really enjoying.
Cool. I'll check them out. I haven't heard them, so I got now a comedian and a band to check out when I get
Yeah,
off
yeah,
this
man.
call.
They're trash rock. It's cool. Their production value. It's like, God damn it! You just
Yeah.
did you throw the master tapes in a fucking muddy pile of gravel? What happened? You know, but it's pretty exciting in that same way that Damage. They are perfecting the art of Damage.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Well, dude, thank you for joining the show once again. Thank you for 20 years of Red Fang. I've been following along as long as I can remember. I've I think maybe, I mean, yeah, prehistoric dog, probably where I started. But been a fan forever. Love your music, love your videos. I hope to hear more in the future. I'm excited about your goth project that you
Yeah,
got.
yeah. You say that now.
I'll be there day one. I'll be listening and purchasing vinyl and all that.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, but everyone that's watching and listening, go out, grab Deep Cuts from Red Fang. If you're a Red Fang fan, there's no reason why you shouldn't, because there's a bunch of tracks on there that you haven't had access to, some covers. Oh, I was going to ask you that. Is there a cover that you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to with the band?
I kind of want. Well, I someday I want to do a cover of that song "Drugs" by Talking Heads.
Ooh, okay.
And I haven't figured out exactly how to do it yet, but I feel like there's a really cool different version in me of that song.
All right.
But it just if you listen to that song, you're like, how do you translate this to a rock thing? And anyway, I've been turning that over in my mind for probably 20 years. So one day, maybe in my new goth punk band, I'll do it.
There you go. There you go. I've been always wanting. I want to do a punk hardcore version of Double Vision from Foreigner.
Oh, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, man. Because it's in my head. I automatically hear the sped up drum. You know, that super fast, kind of like Every Time I Die kind of riffy action. You
I
know.
love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, please pick up Deep Cuts, Red Fang. Where should people, I guess, at Red Fang for the social medias, the websites, what's the best place to get the album so that it helps you the most?
Either through Relapse or Bandcamp.
Okay. So if maybe this is too much behind the curtain, but picking it up from Relapse and picking it up from Bandcamp, like Bandcamp doesn't give you more money.
You know what? I don't know. And honestly, to be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure if it's on Bandcamp. I
Oh,
just if it is,
okay.
I just believe in Bandcamp because they do give a better cut than and pretty any other music outlet that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But certainly going to the Relapse site, there's no doubt in my mind they're selling it because they
Yeah.
made the thing. They don't need hundreds of doorstops. They want to sell them. So
Yeah.
so as far as cutting out the middleman, going straight to Relapse is probably the best place if if you really care.
Do you have a social media, like you personally, not just the Red Fang? No
I
social media.
don't.
No.
I
So
don't exist.
how are you gonna promote your goth project, man?
Uh, I don't know, man. Grassroots, buddy. Grassroots.
Grassroots. Well, thank you again, man. I appreciate you, and hope to see you on the road soon. I mean, I go every time you're in LA, I show up, so I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good one, man. Take care.
Hey, you too. See ya.
Cheers.